everybody, this is Mumbles, and we're going to do a little Q&A with the Indian Retro podcast. That is me and my husband.
Hello, I'm Nick.
It's Nick, and we're going to do this while we're playing Animal Crossing. While Nick's kind of taking care of our little town, Kirby, named after our old kitty cat.
Kirby, I love you!
I miss you, Kirby. Okay. So let's start with the first question. Andy Panthro asked, have you played any Ultima games, and if so, do you have a favorite? Also, similar question about Sierra Adventure games. Also, there have been loads of recent indie adventures that are based on Sierra point-and-click style. Are there any of those that you have played and recommend?
Okay, so the only Ultima I ever played was a little bit on the NES version, so that's not really the definitive Ultima way to play. But I did play a lot of Sierra games, notably Dynamics games, which was a kind of a sub-label of Sierra. They made Adventures of Willy Beamish, Pepper's Adventures in Time, they did Rise of the Dragon, and I played all those ones a bunch, even though I was a baby, didn't really understand what was going on with any of them. They were pretty obtuse, some of them especially. Like the King's Quest and stuff, that was always way too much for me.
Yeah, same.
I tried Hugo's Haunted House one time, and it's just what am I doing? All these games are crazy.
I feel like... Oh, also, you might hear some thunder in the background, because we're really smart. We're recording a video while there's a thunderstorm.
I'm having a great time. That's why you have power strips.
We have power strips and a battery, so we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
What's the most famous Sierra adventure game?
It's probably King's Quest or Space Quest, right?
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of one that's more well known than those ones.
So I played King's Quest, but as an adult, I played it. It was alright.
That's why I like the Monkey Island games, for example, because they realize these King's Quest games are ridiculous and hard.
Yeah.
And it really doesn't reward any exploration. It wants you to just die a lot. That's not very fun.
I very much prefer LucasArts point-and-click adventures, as you've seen my videos.
Loom.
I'm one of the only people on the internet who's done a Loom video.
What a good video it was as well.
So I much prefer LucasArts just because it's more playful, and it's less... The difficulty is... I don't know, it's less bad.
Right, it doesn't kill you if you go somewhere wrong. It's just maybe you waste a little more time.
But King's Quest is pretty good. So as far as like point and click, hold on, we just got an alert on my phone.
Flash flood.
There's a flash flood alert.
So
in this area, and
if we start going bloop bloop bloop
for the next 2 hours,
hope we upload the video real fast. It's not even raining.
It's not even raining.
It's
I just
only
checked.
thunderbolts and lightning. Very, very frightening for the kiddies.
As far as new indie games that do point-and-click adventures, yes, there are a lot of games that do that now because it's easy to program compared to trying to, like, do a indie version of Dragon Age, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine the difference between 2D walking around answering questions. You don't necessarily even need dialogue for these kind of things, as far as, like, voice acting, I meant to say. So it is a great format for indie games, and people can tell their stories. If you are story heavy as a developer, that's the right format for you, I think.
Well, it was neat, these old indie games like Scum.
Right.
They had this, it was basically a Unity just for making adventure games. And so a lot of people were able to make games out of this platform, Scum. And modern day, I think probably the guys holding the torch best is Wadjet Eye. They made this game called The Shiva, and they made a whole bunch of like cyberpunk games. Wadjet Eye, you should check it out. It's very much point and click, classic video game, adventure game.
Neato.
Yeah.
I just played a point-and-click adventure game that I very much enjoyed, and if you are a $2 patron on my Patreon, at patreon.com/mumbles, you can You can read about it. I basically talk about this game called Backbone. There's a free demo on Steam right now, so you can kind of play the first bit of it and get a feel for it to see if you like it. It's a cyberpunk gumshoe noir, and all of the characters are animals, which is kind of a new trend I've noticed too in indie games. And it's about kind of tracking this guy down and seeing what kind of stuff he got up to. It's got really great dialogue. It's got a certain amount of role-playing in it. And it does have some stealth stuff, but I found it to be more interesting than most obligatory stealth stuff.
Good.
It's not difficult, first of all. And the more difficult parts are more of a puzzle than it is a stealth mission.
That sounds better.
Yes. Yeah. So I would really suggest checking out Backbone. I might play it for my channel, actually, just because that seems nice. That seems like a nice thing for us to check out.
Yeah.
And I can guide you through it.
Oh, I can learn how to play.
Or you can just play it yourself, because the demo is free on Steam, and I love when indie games do that.
Love it.
Okay, you ready for the next question?
Let's go.
What are you doing in Animal Crossing right now?
I'm just wander around. If there's something to dig up, I'll dig up maybe a fossil. And if it's a... Let's see, did I get a fossil? I dug up a fossil. So the thing about fossils is you have to mail them away to the museum in the very first Animal Crossing. And then the next day they mail it back to you. And then you can maybe donate it to the museum if they don't have that one yet.
Wonderful.
It's very slow and tedious. Great.
Old Animal Crossing. Good stuff. All right. So Bryce asked, considering Nick's reaction to that 80-hour RPG thing, how do you feel about very long games on handheld consoles? Like the Etrian Odyssey games, grid-based first-person dungeon crawlers that are like 160 hours long but allow you to chip away at them.
Well, the Etrian Odyssey games always took a little too much thinking for me. Like, you had to draw your own maps in them, and it's like, alright, buddy, how about you just tell me where I need to go? I did play some, what was it, the Digital Soul Summoner Shin Megami game for a while, and I guess, like, with all the casual games now, the best thing to do with a handheld game or a mobile game is to make it something like Animal Crossing or like AFK Arena, or just something you can play for 10 minutes a couple times a day and just chip away at it literally forever.
For me, I think it's kind of changed for me a little bit because I don't necessarily play games on the go like I used to. Up until I'd say the last year at college, I was playing games on the go because I would want to get out of my dorm room. So I would take my DS and I would go to a cafe or something and just play like Kirby or Phoenix Wright or something. So for me, I used to really love long handheld console games like Pokemon. Pokemon takes a long time. Phoenix Wright, like I said, I would say Phoenix Wright is like maybe a 40-hour game, so maybe not that long.
Well, there's a lot of them too.
Yeah, but mostly it was Pokemon for me. And right now I'm actually playing through Fire Emblem Awakening, and I'm farther along than Nick is. So.
One of the things I always really liked about like handhelds, especially once like you get to PSP or Vita era, is it has a lot of games that were just on PlayStation or PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
One of the games I've been hoping to pick up is Star Ocean Second Departure. They made a PSP remake that's even better. And it's just a console game in a handheld, which is one of the big selling points of the Vita originally. If you could play the Final Fantasy games, download them. That was the first game I downloaded, was Final Fantasy VII, so I could play it anywhere.
Nick bought me a really beautiful Vita, actually. It's like one of those white ones with the clear buttons. Gorgeous.
It's so nice.
And I played Danganronpa on it. I played Persona, a couple different Personas, but mostly
3 and 4 Golden.
Golden, yeah, right. And so I think that handhelds, I think it's a little antiquated now, but I've always been a pretty big fan of it.
Well, now that we have smartphones, it's like asking a lot to make us also bring our handheld around.
Exactly. Right, exactly. Okay, and Bryce also asked, what is your favorite thing ever in a game?
Favorite thing ever in any game?
Yeah.
I want a game that I can play and forget how bad things are in the world for a while.
Yeah.
If, like, you've probably felt this with Fire Emblem, you can just sit down and play the Fire Emblem Three Houses for hours and hours.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, it's time for bed.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I feel like I had that a lot more as a kid. And I'm still
chasing that,
trying to find that game that I can just play forever.
I totally agree. For me, it's definitely immersion. It's always been like that for me, especially when I first started playing games more seriously right after college. And I got into like Knights of the Old Republic, I got into Doom, I got into Deus Ex, I got into TF2. All these things were just crafted worlds that I could escape into for a while. So I guess we're kind of chasing the same thing where, you know, obviously I like dialogue and role-playing and romance in games, but to me, that's really just a larger whole of wanting to feel like I've been transported into a different world and I have different concerns than I do in my real life. That's one of the joys of the new Fire Emblem game is that you just feel like you are there taking care of things and making decisions and helping these kids and forging friendships and fishing and like it's a really wonderful game. So escapism is what we're looking for.
I wanted escapism when I was young, and now I want it out of games again.
Yes.
Because the real world is not that great a lot of times, and I want to forget about it. That's why I'm liking playing Xenosaga, which is this 80-hour, just the first game of 3.
Yeah.
It's huge, and it's just a lot happening. It's got all these characters, and it's just nice to forget about the world for a while. And
I want true escapism. I don't want power fantasies or anything like that. Like,
that's why we all love Skyrim.
Right.
It's this other world just for us.
Right. I don't really care about alternate history games anymore. I just want places that I can go just to escape the real world. That's what I'm looking for.
Yes, please.
Okay, so what are you doing now?
Oh, I'm mailing my fossils off to the museum to get tell me what the fossil is. And you have to do one at a time.
Oh, it's the rude one.
Oh, yeah.
The rude pelican. I love her.
Every night she's a jerk.
I love her.
That's all I got. Is there any way out? Oh, I'm gonna pay my loan, and she thinks it's so funny.
Let's see. Someone's actually paying.
I owe 40,000 bells. Guess what? That's what I got.
Whoa! Let's see the little dance that he does. Here we go.
I'm poor now.
That's no fun. She's missing her soaps.
There's no soaps at 7 p.m.
Night. I know. Do they not understand soap operas are in the afternoon?
I mean, maybe she was Netflixing it, or she recorded them earlier.
How would she be missing it then?
She just left the TV on in the back.
Oh. Do a little dance. Yay!
Yes.
You did it.
All right.
Okay, next question. Sorry. All right, so Gwen asked, emulation versus repo... I know that's not how you say it. Repo?
Repro.
Repro.
As in reproduction.
Gotcha. Carts and repro hardware versus OG hardware that's slowly disappearing.
One of the problems with game preservation is cartridge rot and disc rot, and it happens to everything. I'm currently trying to play through Dragon Warrior 4 on the NES really quick before the battery dies, and I lose my save, and I'm never able to finish it. But the thing is, they put it on the iPhone, and the iPhone version, it's weird. You're playing it in an iPhone. There's no buttons. It's not the same.
Right.
Even if they have the exact same game, playing it something else. That's why I like the analog consoles. Mumbles here got me a analog Super Nintendo. It's a $200 Super Nintendo, basically. But it uses hardware-based emulation, and you get to use the original controllers. And it looks really good because it's HD. So it takes these old games and makes them look prettier than you remember. And so that needing like screen blurriness or CRT TVs. The only reason I have a CRT TV is because I have so many old consoles.
Yeah.
And it's the only thing that'll hook
we
up to.
own 4 TVs, is what he's trying to say.
We have a lot of TVs.
We own 4 TVs. One of them is an old TV so that he can play his old analog games.
And I worry that one day it's just not going to work. And what am I going to have to do? I'm going to have to go to a pawn shop or something because they don't make them anymore.
Right.
But that's one of the nice things about the analog controller or the analog console. It was expensive. It was like the price of a regular Super Nintendo when it first came out. But it looks so nice. I was playing Soul Blazer on it, and you still get to use the original controller, so it still feels correct.
Right.
And if you can take the old stuff and make it look nicer, I'm for that. And repro carts, I only own a very few, and it's because the original game is hundreds of dollars.
Or more.
Yeah, and I don't really like emulating because I have to play it on the computer. It doesn't feel the same.
Emulating is a young man's game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I actually used to do emulation a lot. In college, I emulated Earthbound because I kept hearing about how great Earthbound was, but when I was in college, there was no way to play it except for you buy what was it? How much was it at its peak? Like, pretty expensive?
I think it was up to $500, but now it's about $200 now.
Yeah.
Because it's been released on the
Digital
SNES Classic and the Wii U and the new 3DS.
But it wasn't always like that. And so if you wanted to just get the cart, it was like a lot of money.
Yep.
I remember seeing it for I remember seeing the whole box.
Box is $1,000.
For $1,000, right?
Yeah.
And then you would have to get the hardware, and I've never owned anything that could play Earthbound because I was a Genesis kid. So, there's a lot of obstacles for me. So I emulated Earthbound. I emulated Monkey Island because you couldn't buy it anywhere.
Because this was pre
I'm showing my age, yeah. Pre-Telltale even. Telltale hadn't even done their... I guess they refurbished it a little bit.
Well,
kinda.
they made Tales of Monkey Island.
Right.
It was the first episodic game that did that kind of thing.
Right. So there were a couple games that I had to emulate because there was no other way to get them.
Yep.
But I don't really do that anymore because most stuff is digital, and I'll just buy it because it's less work.
Well, the good old games I already have.
You're right, exactly. So, if basically any game, I'm like, hey, Nick, do you have this game? He's like, yeah.
You're like, have you heard of this? And I'm like, I have it.
Yeah, right, exactly. What system do you want to play it on?
I have a few copies. Not a lot. Let's not get crazy. But a few.
So, yeah, I think emulation's great if you just don't have the money. You should just emulate stuff.
And some old games that there's only a handful of copies, there's no other way to play it. And so if it's not emulated and ROM dumped from someone's one random copy, it doesn't exist anymore.
Well, I recently bought my brother a Clay Fighter because you can't buy the original for pretty cheap.
We got the 63rd and a 3rd Tournament Edition, which was a Blockbuster rental exclusive.
Correct.
And so we got a repro card of it for $40.
Right.
And that supports this little game store that we like. And
that's the other thing, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of, if you check out some of your local game stores that aren't GameStops, although, it's only a matter of time before GameStop starts doing this kind of thing, they tend to provide repro cards. Yep. So if it's a game that you think you can't afford, maybe stop in with them and see if they have one, and they should have it for a pretty decent price.
Yep. I love old game stores.
And you get to help them.
Yeah.
You're supporting them.
It's nice.
Right? And you're buying something useful instead of just going to a crystal store and buying crystals.
And the thing is, buying used games does not support the original creators anyway.
Right.
So if there's no way for me to support what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna buy this repro cart and then find out what that person's doing, if they are like making music on SoundCloud or something, and maybe buy one of their albums there. Like, you want to support these people that made these things you love.
Sure.
But if there's literally no way to do that, you have to get creative.
I think that...
And then even just advertising their games, like playing this obscure game and then telling people about it, is a good way to pass that on, I guess.
And a lot of these people who are developers for these old games are developers for new games now. Or they're doing some kind of art project or development project. So if you are concerned about that, you can definitely look these people up and support them now. But as it is right now, it's kind of just a scavenger's game.
Yep.
Is what it is. Okay. Bryce asked, what is Nick's comfort game?
Oh, man. It's Super Mario World.
Yeah.
It's my favorite game. Oh, also Little Inferno.
Oh, totally.
Every winter, I play Little Inferno, and it's so nice. I play it on the Wii U only. Only on the Wii U. I don't play it on my iPhone. I don't play it on anything else. It's always just the Wii U. And it always makes me feel warm inside. It makes me feel nice. It's so low impact, and it's wonderful.
It's relaxing.
I love it. Yes, I am comforted whenever I play Mario World, even though sometimes I just boot it up and I'm way at the end of the game and it's a hard level and I'm like, this is not comforting. But then you start it over and it's like, oh, this is nice and this is easy and I'm having a great time because I know where every secret is. I know everything about it. And then Little Inferno, it's just you throw things into a fire and you watch it and it's beautiful.
Sometime I want to record you playing Super Mario World because it's crazy. He's not like an official speedrunner, but
I can beat it in like 10 minutes.
He can beat the game in 10 minutes, and I think that would be a fun thing to have on the channel. If you're interested, let us know and I'll make him do it.
Yeah, let me practice.
Okay, Shelby asked, Mumbles, I know you're super long Western RPGs. Wait, I'm gonna ask that again. Sorry, I've had a glass of wine.
That's fine.
Mumbles, I know that you love super long Western RPGs. Do you ever get a hankering to play a Dragon Quest or any other 80-hour JRPG? This is a great question, and I'm glad that I'm answering it now after I have played 99 hours of Fire Emblem. Does Fire Emblem count? I sure hope so.
It's Japanese and it's an RPG.
Yep.
It's not a turn... It is turn-based. It's just a strategy RPG.
I've played a lot of Fire Emblem, and I really like Awakening, too. Awakening has this thing where it kind of slows down after the 40-hour mark, which is a crazy thing to say out loud, but I really liked pairing people up and seeing them get married and then they go and kick butt together. So I really like Fire Emblem a lot, to the point where sometimes I just am like, should I try to play the older Fire Emblem games too? But the thing is that the way that Fire Emblem is now kind of started with Awakening. So anyway,
yeah,
I love Fire Emblem. I love Dragon Quest. I've been playing Dragon Quest XI. I still haven't finished it because it's a very long game, but I've played most of it, and it's very good. I'm a big fan of Dragon Quest, and I love all the little slimes.
She got me a slime controller for my PS4, and it's so nice.
He watches us hang out on the couch, and I love him.
He just sits there in the corner of the TV stand. It's really nice.
I love Persona. I played the crap out of Persona. I'm really looking forward to the expansion thing that I'm going to have to buy. Probably buy it on... I keep thinking it's on the Switch.
Quit pretending it's on the
I
Switch.
know.
Just because Joker was one time.
Oh my god.
Just because he's in Smash doesn't matter.
Anyway, but I really, really, really like the Persona games a lot. What are some other... I don't really care for Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy games?
I don't really care about Final Fantasy. What's a good game to care about Final Fantasy? What's got some, emotion?
You watched me play all of 15. The car riding... bro game.
Oh yeah, that was fine. It's a little bro-y for me.
It's supposed to be.
I know, but I'm a girl.
Yeah. I don't know. You want to play the girl Final Fantasy X2?
No, everyone tells me to play X2 and it sucks.
X2 does suck.
I played...
You might like 12. It's got more strategic battles and stuff.
Okay.
Maybe.
I'll give it a shot.
Just came out on Switch.
Let's see what else.
I mean, I have it on PS2. but it also just came out on Switch.
See, this is what I'm talking about. He's got like everything. What are some other ones?
I think Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy are the top JRPGs.
JRPGs, for sure.
Final Fantasy is the most American popular one.
To be honest, once I'm done conquering Fire Emblem, I really want to get back into Dragon Quest XI and beat it. And then I'd like to check out the other ones. The problem I have with Dragon Quest XI is that every time I think it's done, I'm like, okay, cool, final battle, sounds great. It's like, nope, you've got another 50 hours of the game.
I told you, it's 80 to 100 hours. You're like 40, it's like, oh yeah, this is a boss. No!
Well, it's very episodic, so
Yeah.
it's hard to tell when it's going to end.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Corla asks, do you and Nick ever try stuff out specifically for the co-op experience? And as a follow-up, what games have you super enjoyed sharing like that?
There are games we bought only to play co-op, and we won't play single player. Example, Lego DC Supervillains.
Great.
Overcooked. Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival.
Mwah!
Best game.
Mwah! Next time we get super drunk, we should play it again.
I love it. It's so nice. There's nothing wrong with that game.
There's lots of time for smooch breaks in it too.
Yeah. What a nice time. I just got A Way Out on sale on PS4 and hoping to try that one.
What is it?
That's one where you're the two of you trying to escape jail together.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And we just haven't got to it yet because it seems like it's asking a lot.
We
like,
did.
It seems like
we tried cream and cookie.
Adventures of Cookie and Cream.
It was way too hard for me.
Pretty hard.
It's a really hard game.
You're not a platformer, so
I don't care for platforming.
it is very much platformer.
We're looking forward to the Moving Out game that's coming out, which is basically you and your friend move furniture over silly, ridiculous silliness. And it looks really fun. So we're looking forward to that. Also, we played the shit out of Diablo. Just killed it.
Played it all the way through on 360 like 1.5 times. Then we got the PS4 version because I had the Necromancer. And if you didn't know, Mumbles here loves necromancy.
I do.
Both in games and real life.
I have a necromancy pit.
And a skeleton.
I love him. So we really do like to try to find games that are good co-op. For us, it's kind of like a way to relax on a Saturday night and not spend any money. Just have some like wine or beer and just play Diablo, which now I really want to play Diablo again.
Yeah.
We didn't beat the Necromancer stuff, so maybe we should.
And I think they just started a new season recently too.
Oh gosh, so maybe we'll get back into that, but yeah.
Why not?
We love looking for games that are couch co-op, and I'm glad that Nintendo and other indie games are trying to find good ones for people because that's kind of our jam.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. The next question is from the Mitch. It's, have you played Outer Wilds? What's your take on it?
I love it. We play it right before bed. It's 22 minutes long for a loop, so that's the perfect length. I usually die before that because I play fast and loose. And
He does.
Mumbles here likes to listen to it as I'm playing it, as long as they're not doing this underwater part where all the big monsters are eating you.
Because they screech and it wakes me up.
Yeah, but everything else, you're just floating around in space, and it's nice.
It's such a beautiful game. It's very warm. I feel like, so everything is made out of wood in this game except for a couple of the big spaceships, but your little shuttle is made out of wood, and I think that contributes to how warm and inviting this game is. And when you go and talk to people, they are playing instruments. My favorite one was that place that kept going underwater, and that dude was just like playing his instrument, and you guys would just go underwater for a bit, and then you come back and you still
He just like lands.
Yeah, so what a great game, what a great story.
And the way it reveals itself to you is so nice. It doesn't take your it doesn't think you're stupid.
No.
And that's probably why I haven't beat it yet, because maybe I'm a little stupid. But also, I don't want it to end.
Be a dumb bitch.
I don't want it to end.
I don't either.
I want to play it forever, like Final Fantasy VII, which I've never beaten and I never will. I want it to just go on forever because I'll always have this nice game, and it's on Game Pass, so I didn't even pay for it. Sorry.
Whoa.
But
TMI.
But I didn't steal it. I supported them on Game Pass,
Game
and
Pass
I talk
is
about how
great.
great it is everywhere.
Yeah, so we love that game. I find it incredibly relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
When it boots up and it has that opening little like guitar and the campfire noises, man,
It's so nice.
so beautiful. So yeah, we love it. A bunch of people who do internet videos have already reviewed it, so if you're curious about it, I think Campster has one, everybody else has one. That's the main reason why I wasn't interested in doing a video, because I'm like, everybody else is doing it. And like, I like keeping my channel, I like keeping people on their toes.
Right? I'm not going to do the game that everyone's already talking about,
No, I'm way too cool for that.
but I will play it when no one's looking.
Right. No, my channel is definitely got some, I don't know, like influence from how I used to treat music. Because I used to definitely be an indie music snob in college, and I think that might have translated to my YouTube channel, where it's like, if I see an indie game that is extremely popular, I don't necessarily feel compelled to talk about it,
Right,
because
everyone
everyone
knows
knows
about this one.
about it already.
Except, remember, Macklemore's Thrift Shop? You were the first person to discover that song.
I know.
You were like the first person to hear it outside of Macklemore and Ryan Lewis.
I know, and Lana Del Rey.
Yeah, and Meg Myers.
Well,
Yeah,
I
fun.
like discovering stuff so that other people play it and it becomes more popular. Of course, that's the dream of anyone who
Yep.
does indie game videos. Oh, here comes the rain.
Right?
Oh.
Oh, there it goes.
Wow.
Yeah. All you indie guys, get that indie money.
Get that sweet, sweet indie money, and I'm here to support you. So, but yeah, my point is that everyone else is talking about Outer Wilds, so like, why would I waste my breath on making a video about it?
Right? Everybody knows it's great.
So, but we really love it. You should check it out if you're curious about it. It's first-person space exploration, and the space exploration doesn't look too hard.
Right? Once you get a hang of it, like moving around in 3D, like you're like, all right, got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. Now that the storm is truly here, let's do our last question.
Okay.
Okay. Angst Nerd, I love that name, asked, what music have you been listening to lately?
Well, every Monday and Friday, I get a new Spotify playlist based off songs that I already know. And so I find a lot of new weird music through that. Like,
Cool.
I don't really search music blogs, but I listen to a really wide variety of music. And when
Yeah.
I get something like, oh, here's Hobo Johnson or Skating Polly, it's like, what is this? I don't know. I love it immediately. And, like Peach Scone by Hobo Johnson, I listen to that song once a day. It's so nice. It's this weird rap song. He's got a weird voice because he's like 15 different nationalities, and it's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. How about you?
Right now I'm really into kind of like girl punk is the best way to call it. There's a band called The Beths, and I think that not only the lyrics are really great, but the guitar and the drums are really beautiful. They did such a good job, and I really hope that they come to Colorado so I can see them. I've listened to their album on repeat pretty religiously, like for the last couple weeks. I'm in love with them.
It's really nice.
The Beths are amazing. I shared Mom Jeans with Nick yesterday. They're kind of a crunchy band. I don't know how to describe it other than it's like post-punk a little bit. It's this new kind of messy punk music, which isn't, but it's not as aggressive as regular punk music might be. I've also been listening to a lot of just music from the Rocky films.
Oh man, there's no easy way out.
Listen. Oh man, that lightning was intense. All right.
It's going crazy out
Listen,
there.
okay. If you need to listen to one song today, it's No Easy Way Out from the Rocky films.
Rocky 4.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, the one where he has to go fight the Russian.
Ivan Drago. What a great movie that is.
That freaking song is so good, and I can listen to it over and over and over again.
Gets you going.
I've been listening to Band on the Run. It's a good old rock song. We recently heard the Foo Fighters cover, and it was wonderful.
I never heard that before. It was great.
So, I don't know. For me right now, it's the Beths. So if you're curious about the kind of taste in music I have, go listen to Easy Way Out.
Not the best. Listen to Easy Way
I'm
Out.
just kidding. I'm very protective of the Beths because I'm like, I love this, and if someone tells me they don't like it, I'll be sad.
So if you don't like it,
don't tell me.
Keep it to yourself.
I'll be sad.
Yeah. You don't want that.
Okay, I think that's a fun way to end it. I just want to thank all of my Patreons, of course, you guys for supporting us and believing in us. And everyone who really enjoys the videos too. We also have a podcast called the Indian Retro Pod, which I'm sure you've heard of by now if you follow me on Twitter or even watched the video that was before this.
If you hadn't, I'm not really sure how you got here, but cool.
And on that, it's really starting to storm. So I'm gonna go run outside. You can't catch me!
It always happens.
Seriously, I'm gonna go outside.
Alright, should we stop all these recordings first?
You gotta go for another 20 seconds so that people can make their choices.
That gives me time to go save and stuff.
Maybe they'll subscribe. Maybe they'll look at another video.
Maybe they will.
Who knows?
This is your house.
And I built it.
I send you mail.
Oh, I have a pink roof. That's so on brand.
I have purple roof. Let's see what's over here.
Whoa.
I missed the meters.
Oh, I just saw the screen flicker. We gotta go. Okay. Bye, everybody.